I could hear what sounded like 2 sets of footsteps. That's when I remembered. I sat there with my taser out and hit the panic button on the phone app. I had not enabled the alarm system after returning. This is something that happened this past Friday while I was babysitting. For a little bit of context, I'm 21, female, a college student, and I've been babysitting since I was 14. I'm not an expert on literally anything. However, over the years, I have learned caution and resilience. At age 15, I took babysitting classes at our youth center, as well as a female self-defense course. So I babysit at least once a month for this one family. I like them because they pay me more than my usual hourly rate. They have a big house with internet that I can use to do homework, and the 2 kids are surprisingly well-behaved and compliant. So the 2 parents have a monthly ritual of going out around 5 p.m. and returning a little after 2 a.m. I'm always offered to sleep in the guest bedroom and stay until morning. I usually just stay awake and abuse their satellite TV and then leave when they come back. The house is in a nice neighborhood without a whole lot of neighbors, very quiet. Also, their house is armed with an alarm system that I have the code to and can arm and disarm it through my phone. That will be relevant in a little while. So I always take the kids for pizza at this place that has like an arcade. I do this so that they tire themselves out and go to bed early. Plus, the little girl that I babysit is also on a mission to win a family of stuffed animals from the prize store, so I'd be the world's worst babysitter if I didn't guide her in that pursuit. I was sitting at a table and watching them play in the ball pit while also texting on my phone. This couple came over and sat at the same table as me. It was a long table with parents scattered here and there, so this wasn't alarming. And the couple looked normal enough. Both were probably in their mid-20s, possibly a little older. They were talking to each other. But then the guy asked me, quote, "Are you the one babysitting Dr. So-and-so's kids?" Unquote. So the parents of these children are both doctors. In the specific region that we live in, this would be common enough information, but I still chose to answer their question with an irrelevant statement. I said, quote, I wonder what they use to make the pizza here, unquote. I know, master of deception, I deserve an Oscar for that performance. However, they seemed to see right through my clever ruse. They started making weird comments. They talked about the kids' parents. They commented on the daughter and how they wondered if she would, quote, look as pretty as their mom, unquote. Okay, my dudes, okay. I don't know if that was intended to be creepy, but I'm just gonna be safe and pretend that it was. Then the woman says to me, and I do quote, "Do they really let you dress like that while watching their kids?" Unquote. She motioned with her eyes towards my t-shirt, which was admittedly a little tight, though aside from a little bit of a bosom crack, not revealing. I have a thin frame and a large chest. It's 90 degrees in my region of the US right now, so it's not like I can wear a hoodie. And my tits have a Crips and Bloods type relationship with any kind of shirt that has buttons, so I saw that as my cue to go and get the kiddos and bring them to get their prizes so we could bounce. After some very thought-provoking and philosophical debating, they both got their prizes and we headed back to the house. So fast forward a few hours, both kids were bathed and put to sleep. I delivered a heartwarming rendition of Goodnight Moon and read a very spooky chapter of The Werewolf of Fever Swamp and tucked them into dreamland. It was around 9 p.m. I was caught up on homework and was just watching TV when I heard some movement on the porch. I didn't think much of it at first, but then the doorknob started rattling violently. I initially started moving towards the front door to see who it was, but miraculously, I remembered that it was late at night, I was home alone with 2 kids, and I very much wanted to live. I turned around to grab my purse, which is where I keep my taser. As I'm moving, the back door starts rattling as well, and was accompanied by some banging noises. That's when I remembered. I had not enabled the alarm system after returning. But I enabled it again. I ran upstairs and grabbed the 2 kids and I put them in their parents' walk-in closet. I still hate that I scared them. When I gathered them up, I gave no context as to what was going on. I didn't want to tell them that someone was trying to break into the house. But in the process, the fear of not knowing seemed to be worse. I instructed them to stay in there and stay quiet, only to open the door if they hear me talking to them. I then locked the bedroom door, which is the only door on that floor that locks. I sat there with my taser out and hit the panic button on the phone app. Several minutes went by. Then I got the notification through the app that the alarm system was disabled. I planned on calling 911, even though the panic button already took care of that, but I found it more beneficial just to arm it back. Then it disarmed again. So I armed it again. Then it disarmed once again. So I armed it once again. By this time, I could hear what sounded like 2 sets of footsteps walking up the stairs, and I'm thinking, good job, girl. You locked yourself inside with 2 potential assailants. I was holding it together for the sake of the kids, but not too deep inside. I was scared to death. When I heard the footsteps get near the door and saw the knob twisting, I took a deep breath and pulled the trigger on my taser, just to let them know that I was armed, though it realistically wouldn't have done much good. I informed them, though, through the door, that the alarm was triggered and police are on their way. It's the doctor. You're safe. Oh, thankfully, I was greeted by a familiar voice. I opened the door and ran into their arms and started sobbing. I hadn't realized truly until it was over just how scared I really was. The kids came out without me giving them the okay, by the way, but their parents were there, so I let it slide. Turns out, when I enabled the alarm on my phone, they both got the notification at the place they were out at. With the app, you have the option to view the porch cameras as well. When they got the notification that the panic button was activated, they saw through the camera that there were people on each side of the house. 1 man, 1 woman. When the alarm kept disarming, that was them trying to get into the house. The police report was filed by them. I gave a statement mentioning the 2 weirdos I met earlier that day, even though there was really no evidence that would directly point to them. Camera footage didn't give any positive face IDs either. So yeah, I was scared. I'm getting over it now. I'm just grateful that the couple that I was babysitting for were close enough to make it to me. I'm currently back in my own apartment an hour away, and I did check in to see how the kids were doing. They're holding up just fine. I am just glad there were protocols in place in the home, and that this didn't end up any worse. I'd like to thank you all for joining me again for Storytime. It means a lot. I really do appreciate it. I want you to know that I have seen your comments. I know that a lot of you are saying that you do prefer the compilations. I apologize that I don't have one ready for this week. I do ask permission to read the submissions here on the channel, and some people I simply haven't heard back from. I created the subreddit 8 years ago, so they may not be around, but I just want to be respectful and give them time to get back to me, and if they don't, then I'll come up with a new plan. But I had prepped singleton stories, in preparation for launching the channel. So I have a lot of those that are prepped and ready to go, but know that I have heard you on the compilations. They are coming. As far as why I chose this story, I like the way that it was written. I also like the lesson that she left us with, which was to be prepared. She was prepared. She mentioned the female self-defense courses that she took, and she also had her taser. And yes, it was her error in not remembering the alarm. She forgot. We all forget. But she thought quickly, got back on track. And it's just a reminder, I know you guys are up on making sure you're taking care of it and safe, but just take a few minutes over the next few days and make sure you have a plan if someone were to break into your house. It just takes a few minutes, and it might matter greatly in the future. I hope not. But be prepared is the point. That's what I really liked about the submission. So that's it for me today. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you'll get the creep alert the next time I post a video. Also, please help us out in the algorithm by leaving a like if you like this, a dislike if you didn't, and a comment if you can, even if it's just Hi.